had the amazing opportunity to get an early look at Chrono Gear Warden of Time, a Hololive fan game produced by Spacey but Hololive, and produced under the Holo Indie umbrella. In case you're not familiar, Hololive is a Japan-based VTuber corporation whose brand Holo Indie helps game creators publish fan-made titles through their support program. I'm a big Hololive fan, and I love what Holo Indie is doing for indie developers, and so I was really excited to get to play the fast-paced action platformer Chrono Gear. Chrono Gear Warden of Time is a 2D platformer with a lovely retro charm, reminiscent of beloved titles such as Megaman or the Sonic games. You play as Ouro Kronii, a member of Hololive English's second-generation council and the Warden of Time. As such, you also have time manipulation powers that you get to use throughout the game. Kronii has created a powerful object, the Chrono Gear, which has the power to preserve timelines. However, calamity befalls her world and the gear is shattered. She finds herself visiting the worlds of her fellow council members to fix what's broken and gather the golden gears scattered throughout. The premise is relatively simple, but a deeper plot lies underneath. Chrono Gear felt like a real love letter to both the genre and Hololive as a whole. Countless talents are featured throughout the game, with their own levels, enemies, and characteristic little quirks. It's got this real power friendship vibe throughout that I really enjoyed. After all, I'm a sucker for seeing my favorites kick ass. The cutscenes are lovingly animated, and the themed stage is beautifully illustrated. They really do the talents justice. Throughout the entirety of Chrono Gear, I could feel the care that went into the project. I spotted so many little references that fans are sure to love, such as Gyrus, Kronii-hating spiders, or Corona's listener son being one of the enemies you get to fight. The many different lores are well utilized to create interesting levels, such as Polka Circus themed stage, which is a pure joy to play. I really hope that players who aren't Hololive fans won't be put off by Chrono Gear's branding. While it is at its core a Hololive fan game, I really think that fans of fast-paced 2D platformers will really enjoy this title. The stages are well thought out with a vast variety of different enemies and interesting movement mechanics. Every stage is deeply unique, with its own interesting gimmicks that switch up the pace and gameplay, and yet none of them overstay their welcome. Forest-themed stages have vines you can swing from. An ocean-themed stage lets you swim or ride on waves. One stage lets you fight on top of a moving truck. I don't want to spoil it all, but I never got bored and I was truly astonished by how much such a short game had to offer. Truth be told, I'm not very good at those kinds of games, and often don't even give them a chance. So I'm really glad that my love for Hololive convinced me to pick this one up. It does a great job at easing you in and letting you feel like you're a god before ramping up the difficulty. At this point, I felt ready to tackle more difficult challenges and found them to be less intimidating than I always had made them out to be in my head. That being said, there are also other difficulty levels if you're either much newer to the genre or much more experienced. The only thing I found myself struggling with is my lacking sense of direction. The scenery zooms past so quickly that I got turned around at times, and I felt like I really needed something to point me in the right direction. I found myself spending several hours on end, just vibing to the amazing music and rushing through different levels, slashing at enemies, and collecting as many points as I could on the way. The boss fights are interesting and offer different mechanics, while showcasing more of the lore. The most unique mechanic by far is the time manipulation. You can slow down or speed up the time around you, which leads to some really interesting situations. I made use of the slowdown quite a lot, finding it really helpful for deflecting projectiles or getting me out of tricky situations. The haste mechanic unfortunately fell a bit short, as the game is mostly so fast-paced already that I didn't feel any need for it to be any faster. I would love to see it implemented in more interesting situations. I could probably speak about the many interesting stages and funny story beats all day, but I don't want to spoil too much. After all, I remember the delight I felt when I was surprised by some of my favorite talents suddenly popping up in the game. Altogether, I think this is an amazing project, which is sure to appeal to lovers of the genre or just fans like me, whose interest was piqued by a game featuring their favorite talents. I really hope it will spark Hololive's fans' interest in 2D platformers, as it did for me, and vice versa. Most of all, I hope Holo Indie continues being a great opportunity for many more amazing titles like this one to be created. And this is why Noisy Pixel is giving Chrono Gear Warden of Time a 9 out of 10. Thank you so much for watching. This video is brought to you by our lovely supporters on Patreon. Noisy Pixel is run by a group of gamers providing independent gaming coverage through news, reviews, previews, and more. If you enjoyed this, please consider checking out our Patreon to support our continued growth, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of our future content. Thank you so much, and see you soon!
Noisy Pixel.